Hi all, and welcome to episode 30 of What Cause Inspires You. I'm your host, Nithya, and today I have with me Kaitlyn Vail. Alicia Gupta, my friend and fellow Humanity Rising ambassador, launched the What Cause Inspires You podcast as a way for students to share the service that they are doing in their communities. We encourage youth who are making a change to improve the world to speak up about their stories and become a leader in the movement. Kaitlyn Vail is a sophomore in high school in Ohio. She created her organization Supporting Smiles. Supporting Smiles is a mental health organization based around the education and awareness of mental health. Kaitlyn is hoping to spread awareness for mental health with her own experiences and knowledge and hopes to get people to understand the community. We are recording this presentation and it will be posted shortly on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music. Be sure to check out www.humanityrising.org and sign up for our email newsletter to keep updated with all the podcast links. Thank you for joining us, Kaitlyn. Everyone out there who's listening and myself are excited to start learning. So let's get started. Why don't you go ahead and tell me a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Kaitlyn Vail. I'm 15 years old and I'm a sophomore in high school in Ohio. Some of my hobbies that I enjoy is playing soccer on my school soccer team, participating in school plays and musical, and hanging out with my friends.
That's cool. So, what's your organization?
So my organization, like you said, is Supporting Smiles. It is a mental health organization based around the education and awareness of mental health. We post informational posts around the topics of mental health, psychology, and our goal is to spread awareness for the mental health community and mental abuse.
That's really cool. I think that's an amazing goal. And I think especially in like online school and how everything is going in the world right now, it's really important to address mental health and it's an important issue. So what's your personal story and how come you started this organization?
So what really inspired me to create Supporting Smiles was my own mental health struggles for the past couple years going into this year. For the past couple years, I was mentally abused by my father. It was so mentally draining when I'd go over his house that I feel my anxiety originated from that situation, and because I was constantly scared of what he would do next. But this year, around April, May, June, I was in contact with him again, which I haven't for a while, and I felt at my absolute worst. And one day, the idea of my organization just kind of popped into my head, and I talked with a counselor about it, and she thought it was an amazing idea. And I just kind of went to people about it, and I've never got like negative feedback. So that's a little my personal story and why I created the organization.
Yeah, I'm really sorry you had to go through that, but I think it's amazing that you were able to turn it into this organization to positively impact other people. And I think it's really cool that you were able to do that. So what does your organization do specifically and what have you accomplished so far?
So basically, my organization posts informational posts about topics that could be hard to talk about. So, for example, we have talked about anxiety, depression, eating disorders, the stigma around mental health and therapy, and many more hard topics. We also cover lighter topics like the effect coffee has on anxiety and the best colleges for a psychology major. We also cover the road to becoming a professional in the mental health field. So far, we have covered how to become a psychologist and a psychiatrist and the different types of psychologists and psychiatrists. We hope to cover more professions soon to inform everyone their options. The one big thing I feel like we have accomplished is seeing how people react to the organization. I started Supporting Smiles kind of like make me feel better and put my effort into something productive. And I love seeing making other people feel better. I haven't been running the organization for long, but there's so many things we plan on doing in the future. In a couple days, we'll be posting our first IGTV series called Mental Health Mentors, where I talk to an educational psychologist about their job and how they got there. We are also planning on making a support group chat where we talk about anything and where we plan to have monthly meetings and we play games and talk.
I think that's really cool that you're able to interact with everyone using those platforms too. I think social media has been a really powerful platform for youth today. And
Mhm.
I mean, at least for myself, a lot of the time I'll just go on Instagram and someone will have posted something and it just kind of like it's about mental health, or it will just help you like stop and check in with yourself. And I think it's really important to be able to like see those things and realize that you need to, take a beat and be aware of where your headspace is at so you can really address it. And I think it's important to have a platform to do that. And I think it's really amazing that you're able to do that.
Mhm.
So, how can people get involved with your organization?
Our applications for new members just closed, but you can support us by following us on Instagram and TikTok at Supporting Smiles. And just 2 days ago, we started our Facebook and Twitter. We're trying to get more reach out there to reach different like age groups and communities out there on social media. So our Facebook is the same as our Twitter, our TikTok and Instagram at Supporting Smiles, and our Twitter is at SUPP Smiles. We may not be able looking for members right now, but if you support us by liking our posts, liking us on Facebook, or retweeting any of our tweets, it would mean a lot to us as it allows our audience to grow and have more people have an understanding of the community.
I think definitely that's a good idea because a lot of the platforms, they end up reaching a lot of people, whether they can be a member or not. So I think those would be really helpful from the audience. What do you want to tell others who are going through similar situations like what you went through?
I was in a manipulative, abusive relationship for years with my father. And if I could tell someone who's going through a situation that was similar to mine, I would tell them words of encouragement. Sometimes words of encouragement were some of the only things that got me through my day. If it was something like, "You are so strong," it would make me want to live the rest of my day as strong as I could be. I would also tell them it will be okay. I would tell them it would be okay and that they'll get out of it someday, whether it's tomorrow, in a couple months, or in a year. It will be okay, and I will have their back, even if it seems like the universe is turning their back on them.
I think that's really important. And it's also important to realize that, a few words can go a long way. A lot of people don't realize how like small actions can be impactful on people. And I think
Mhm.
just even the smallest thing you say to your friend who seems stressed or anything, it can really make a difference. So I think it's just important to remember that being kind might even small actions might seem small, but they are impactful. So what advice do you have for those who want to make change like the one you were able to?
My best advice is just to go for it. If you want to make a change or bring awareness to something, whether it's in your community or internationally, don't wait. Honestly, my organization is one of the best decisions I made in a long time. So if you have a passion for something you want to bring awareness to, make that change and talk about it. In the beginning, I really cared about what my classmates and friends would think about the organization, but now I don't really care what they think. So another big thing of advice is to not care what other people think. You have the power of changing people's opinions and minds and bring awareness to topics at your fingertips. If you're too busy worrying about what other people think, it takes time away from making that change.
I definitely agree. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I worry about what other people think, but I think it's a part of growth, just realizing that you need to do what you want to do and you shouldn't worry about other people because you need to be true to yourself, kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I think it's really amazing that you're able to overcome that and that you're able to do all of these things and like make such a positive change in your life. How should one find motivation to do schoolwork and other activities when you feel like you don't have any?
As a student, I know there's definitely some times where you really just can't find motivation to do your work, especially the time we're in now where we're all online and we're at home. So I've definitely had those moments where I'm just kind of just sitting at my desk and staring at my work and just have no motivation to do it. Even a couple weeks ago, I was just staring into space and I remember like I need to get this work done. My advice for you when you feel like you have no motivation is to cut out as many distractions as you can. For me, my biggest distraction is my phone. Whenever I feel unmotivated, I try to put my phone in another room. Another piece of advice I have is to control your breaks. I often find myself taking too long of a break and not trying to figure out where to start again. So try to time your break and start back on your work as soon as possible, right after the timer goes off.
Yeah, definitely. I know it's been finals week for a lot of us,
Mhm.
and I think it's important to know how to like organize your time, because I definitely have not been as efficient as I wanted to be, but I think you need to find what kind of studying pattern works for you, which is probably something you need to find for yourself, but it can be helpful to like know how to do that.
Mhm.
So how do you balance school and running your organization supporting Smile?
So for the past couple months, I had a hard time finding that balance between schoolwork and running Supporting Smiles. As Supporting Smiles is very important for me, school will always be my number one priority. So as a new organization owner, felt really lost finding that balance. So one thing I've recently started doing was using calendars and managing my time better. I will use the calendar app on my phone to add events for my organization and put my extracurriculars that I need and to remind myself. So, also, time management is key. I usually make the first half of my day just for schoolwork and the second half to work on my organization if needed. Is it to make posts, do research, and help my team if they need any, or just to wind down? I find these things really critical to have a successful day as an organization founder.
I think that's really cool. And I think it's important to be able to organize your time and be able to do that. And I think it's good that our audience is hearing this because, again, a lot of people want to be able to organize their time like that. And the organization
Mhm.
Humanity Rising is all about helping youth and their nonprofits get spread. So I think it's awesome that we're doing this. What did you do to get through your hard times?
I've gotten this question before, and I like to be open with my followers and supporters about my struggles and how I've been using them to put effort in this organization. So I probably said this multiple times, but there's two big things that I used to get through the hard times, and I really think they could work for someone else too. And so those two things are coping methods and a support group. For example, two of my favorite coping methods is singing and baking. I started singing when I was 11 years old in this music program in my town, and it's really just helped me ever since to de-stress and just feel better, no matter the cause. And the last thing I stress a lot, and I do this on Supporting Smiles, is to form a support group. And my support group consists of like family and friends, and it's just comfortable to talk to. And that's what if someone wants to make someone themselves, they should be people they're comfortable talking to and comfortable to talk to about anything. And so I feel those things got me through the hard times.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's important to have that group. And I think it's awesome that your organization is kind of helping people form that if they don't have it. But I think it's important to have transparency with your group and be able to talk about difficult stuff, even if you don't feel comfortable with it. You can contact and connect with Kaitlyn through Instagram at Supporting Smiles, and I'm Kaitlyn V, and TikTok and Facebook at Supporting Smiles. We will also be attaching these contacts in our YouTube description of the podcast in case anyone has further inquiries or wants to get involved. Thank you so much for sharing, Kaitlyn. This cause is really important to raise awareness for, and the work you're doing for Supporting Smiles is super inspiring.
Thank you for letting me speak on my organization, and thank you for having me.
Of course, we loved having you. If you have any general questions about the What Cause Inspires You podcast series, are interested in applying as a student or expert speaker, or want to volunteer, email aliciagupta2020@gmail.com or info@humanityrising.org. Humanity Rising is a student-led movement to create a better world through service, and if you haven't already joined the movement, you can do that at humanityrising.org. Humanity Rising also offers a number of service opportunities, including anti-bullying activities, which is our signature program. You can build your service resume, earn service learning hours, and most importantly, be a part of something greater than yourself and help better our world. Be sure to follow our Instagram and Facebook pages to stay updated on our scholarship opportunities, future podcasts, and events at humanity.rising and at What Cause Inspires You. Thank you all for attending, and we hope to see you again for next week's podcast.